Well, I come from Dallas, Texas, which is in the southwest part of the U.S. That's where I've lived most of my life. But I'm originally from Mississippi, which is the deep south, very well known for the two-class system of the have and the have-nots. It's a very impoverished state, and that's where my family is from originally. But I moved to Dallas, Texas as a young child, and I've been there ever since. I would say in Texas things have improved. Definitely there, I would say that Black people have progressed. They are doing better because of capitalism. They're making more money. For the most part, they are living better lives, but there's still a pretty large disparity between the way Black people live and the way white people live in Texas. You do still have Black people that still live in poverty. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Texas is known for having the highest number of incarcerated Black men in the country, and the highest number of children who live in poverty. Soul music comes out of blues music, which comes out of gospel music, which comes out of slavery. So with slavery beginning in the southern, or being so big in the southern part of the U.S., there's a difference. And you can even hear the difference in going to Black churches in the South and Black churches as you go to the Northeast. There's a difference. There's a difference in the music that comes out of the South. And I think a big part of it is because of slavery. So I believe that soul music, truly, if you think about many of the soul artists, if you think about Otis Redding being from Georgia, and Aretha Franklin, although she's from Detroit, people who live, all of their roots are still in the South. Their parents moved to the North to get work and to escape Jim Crow, apartheid, to escape slavery, to escape that the system that's in the South. So still, all of those roots are in the South. So soul music comes, I believe, I will argue with someone, soul music comes out of the South. Well, I am an artist. I'm a soul artist, and I'm from the South, and I've been making music and recording music and loving music my entire life, since I was a small child. So I'm an artist. I've been inspired by all kinds of music: soul music, gospel music, pop music, folk music. I'm inspired by good music. Stevie Wonder, I listen to the Gap Band, I would listen to Donny Hathaway, but I would also listen to James Taylor, and I would listen to the Carpenters, and I would listen to Carly Simon. So I would also listen to the singer-songwriter, because I love music, words, and I love melody. Yes, I'm working on it right now. I'm playing around with a couple of titles, so I don't want to say. So far it's untitled. But I'm finishing the record right now. I'm in the studio recording, working with many of the same producers that I worked with on the first CD, Ernie G, Gino Young. I'm going to have a couple other surprises as well, but finishing it up for a late spring 2009 release. I would say the difference between this CD and the first one is going to be more aggressive, and I think a little sexier. It's important to have a message, but I also think it's also important that people can grab onto it. Sometimes I think I don't want to be preachy. And so I think sometimes as soul artists, we can become too preachy. Do you know what I mean by preachy?
Yeah.
By trying to drive, into their head, message, message, message. I want it to have a message. I want it to be natural. Don't be sleeping all night thinking. But I don't think if you ask many of those singers how many of them would consider themselves soul singers or consider that they do soul music. I think there's still only a handful of, I would say, mainstream artists that would be known globally that would be considered soul music artists. Many of the others would be considered R&B or pop. But soul music, it's a little bit of a difference. So I think it's just how, it's the overall, it's the purpose. Soul music makes you think, soul music makes you feel, soul music makes you move. And the main focus isn't to be a star. It is to do good music that people will love, that people will gravitate to, and that people will enjoy, and that we can continue doing for the rest of our lives. So I think that the changing market is good for us. It's good because it made entrepreneurs. It made us business people. Even when it was we were forced to become entrepreneurs. Whereas with a label, you're just a product and you're pretty much owned by them. And they put your music out there, and if your music doesn't sell, then they let you go. Whereas I control it. I control my destiny. I control it where if I work a little bit harder, if I sleep a little bit less, I can continue to work to get the music in front of the people, and I can make a living. I think for good and some for bad, it's kind of like the internet. The internet is good and evil. You get lots of good from the internet. It makes the world much smaller. But it also has some components, some parts of it that everyone can have access to, and everyone shouldn't have access to it. So there aren't those gates. There should be more gates. But with the changing of the market, with the changing of the record label, and with music being so accessible, I think it's good for soul music, and I think it's good for independent artists. Hello, bonjour, merci. Thank you so much for your love and for supporting the music. And I want to say to all my fans here in France, here in Paris, merci. Thank you so much for your support, for loving this music, for your excitement, for coming to the shows, for dancing, for having a great time at the shows. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for being engaged. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for wanting to know more about the music and where it comes from. And the new music, I hope you enjoy just as much. I hope that you love it just as much. I hope you share it with your friends. I hope you share it with everyone that you know and love. Au revoir.